Have you noticed subtle yet concerning changes in someone you love lately? Sometimes it's easy to brush them off as just getting older. But here's the hard truth. Death in old age rarely comes without warning. In fact, the body often whispers quiet signals months, even a year before life's final chapter arrives. Sadly, most people miss these signs until it's too late. By the time the realization hits, precious opportunities to prepare and make meaningful memories have already slipped away. In this video, we're going to uncover 6 critical signs that may appear a year before an elderly person passes away. Some of these signs might already be familiar. Perhaps you've even seen them but dismissed them as typical signs of aging. Others may seem small, almost unnoticeable, yet they quietly signal that the body is slowly shutting down. Recognizing these signs early is not about creating fear. It's about offering your loved one the best care possible during their final stage of life. It's about creating moments that matter, moments filled with dignity, comfort, and peace. So, stay with us until the very end. Understanding these warning signs not only prepares you emotionally, but also gives you the power to make the most of the time left with those who mean the most to you. Now, let's begin with the first, and often overlooked, sign. Sign 1. Significant weight loss. Among the earliest and most telling indicators of the body's decline is unintentional weight loss. At first it might be subtle. You may notice a belt that suddenly fits too loosely, clothes that no longer hug the body as they once did, or a loved one who simply isn't as hungry anymore. Many families brush this off as just another part of aging. But the truth is, losing weight without trying is rarely a harmless change. It often reflects deeper health concerns. The body may no longer absorb nutrients efficiently, muscle mass begins to diminish, and vital systems slow down. Yes, it's normal for muscle mass to decrease with age. However, when this process accelerates, it could be a sign that the body is struggling to digest food properly or can no longer process protein effectively. This leads to muscle wasting, which not only makes daily movements harder but also increases the risk of falls, weakens the immune system, and leaves the individual more vulnerable to illness. Another common reason for this weight loss is appetite loss. As people approach the end of life, they often experience a natural decline in hunger. Food no longer tastes as good. The joy of eating fades, and meals become smaller or skipped entirely. This isn't just about preference. It's the body, signaling that it's starting to slow down for good. Medical conditions also play a role. Chronic illnesses like cancer, heart failure, kidney disease, and even depression or cognitive decline can quietly cause reduced appetite and weight loss long before more obvious symptoms appear. While families may try to solve this issue by offering favorite foods or nutritional drinks, sometimes the weight continues to drop despite their best efforts. This is not just about eating, it's about the body preparing for a natural transition. In this stage, forcing large meals may not help. Instead, focusing on comfort, easy-to-eat foods, and staying hydrated is often the better approach to preserving dignity and quality of life. So, if you notice your loved one losing weight significantly, especially if they're eating less, growing weaker, or becoming less active, it's time to pay attention. This isn't just about appearance, it's the body speaking in quiet, urgent terms. Understanding this can help you prepare for what lies ahead with clarity, compassion, and love. Sign 2. Extreme fatigue and weakness. The second sign is one that is painfully visible yet often misunderstood. A deep, persistent fatigue begins to take hold. A weariness that simple rest cannot fix. This isn't about feeling tired after a long day. This is about exhaustion that makes getting out of bed feel monumental. Walking across the room becomes a real effort. Basic tasks, once routine, such as dressing, cooking, or even engaging in conversation, suddenly feel draining. Why does this happen? As the body nears its final phase, it instinctively conserves energy. Organ functions slow down. The heart pumps less efficiently. Circulation weakens. Oxygen delivery to muscles drops. As a result, the body shifts into preservation mode, prioritizing essential functions over daily activities. Metabolism also slows dramatically. Energy that once fueled movement and social engagement now supports only vital processes. This is why many elderly individuals sleep more, nap frequently, and find it harder to stay alert throughout the day. Sudden drops in energy are also common. One moment they may seem okay, and the next, they're completely drained. Perhaps most heartbreaking is the emotional toll. Seniors who once prided themselves on independence may feel frustrated, embarrassed, or even defeated by their growing limitations. This often leads to social withdrawal, not because they've lost interest, but because they simply don't have the strength. Watching this unfold can be painful for family members. It's tempting to encourage them to push through. However, forcing activity won't help, and may even do harm. At this stage, what matters most is understanding their limits, offering gentle support, and making each moment as peaceful and meaningful as possible. If your loved one is experiencing profound fatigue that doesn't go away with rest, recognize this for what it is: the body entering its final tender chapter. Cherish the conversations, create moments of comfort, and most importantly, make sure they feel loved and understood every step of the way. After witnessing the draining exhaustion and weakness that slowly take hold, another subtle yet deeply troubling change often begins to surface, one that affects the very core of who your loved one is, their mind and emotions. Sign 3. Increased cognitive confusion and withdrawals. The body prepares for its final transition. Changes are not only physical, the mind too begins to show signs that something deeper is happening. One of the most difficult and heartbreaking shifts for families to witness is how a once sharp and vibrant individual gradually becomes confused and detached. You may first notice little things, forgetting where they placed simple items, struggling to follow a conversation they once would have led with ease, repeating themselves often, losing track of names, or becoming disoriented even in familiar surroundings. At first, these moments may seem like harmless forgetfulness, but over time, they become more frequent and more intense. This is not simply old age. This is the brain, like any other organ, suffering from decreased oxygen and nutrient supply. As circulation weakens, mental clarity fades. In some cases, you may witness moments of surprising lucidity. Flashes where your loved one seems like their old self, only for confusion to return just as quickly. It's as if their mind flickers like a light struggling to stay on. Beyond memory issues, emotional withdrawal is another powerful signal. Individuals nearing the end of life often disengage from those around them. You may find them speaking less, avoiding eye contact, or sitting quietly for long periods without interest in conversation or activity. But it's not that they don't care anymore. Rather, it's that processing emotions and participating in interactions becomes exhausting. Loud environments overwhelm them. Small talk no longer holds meaning. Their world, both emotionally and mentally, begins to shrink. Mood changes often accompany this withdrawal. Some may become easily irritated or anxious, while others seem almost too calm, detached and indifferent to what once mattered. This isn't merely a personality shift. It's a response to the brain slowing down, making emotions harder to express or even to feel. For families, this stage can be especially painful. Watching a loved one fade emotionally and mentally, even while physically present, can feel like losing them twice. You may find yourself asking, where did they go? Why won't they talk like before? But it's important to remember, this is not within their control. Forcing them to engage or demanding clarity won't bring them back. Instead, the most compassionate thing you can do is meet them where they are. Speak softly. Offer reassurance. Sit with them, even in silence. They may not always respond, but they still sense love and presence. So, if your loved one becomes increasingly forgetful, withdrawn, or confused, don't ignore these signs. They often signal that the mind and body are preparing for the final journey. This is your moment to embrace patience, treasure quiet connections, and create an environment of peace and comfort. Sign 4. Frequent infections and slow healing. As we continue this journey of understanding, another critical sign becomes clear: the body's weakening defense against illness. When life nears its final stages, the immune system, once a powerful shield, begins to falter. You might notice that your loved one, who rarely caught colds before, now seems vulnerable to every passing bug. Minor illnesses like the flu or a simple cold linger far longer than they used to. Cuts and bruises, which once healed within days, now remain for weeks. Even small wounds may reopen, refusing to fully recover. These are not random events. They are silent indicators that the body is losing its ability to defend and repair itself. Repeated infections become a growing concern. Pneumonia, urinary tract infections, UTIs, skin infections, and even oral health issues appear more frequently. What used to be minor issues now require stronger medications, longer recovery periods, and sometimes multiple rounds of treatment. Why is this happening? As circulation slows and organ function declines, the body struggles to deliver oxygen and nutrients where they are needed most. Without this essential support, healing slows to a crawl. Chronic wounds become especially dangerous. Pressure sores, especially for those who are less mobile, pose serious risks. If left untreated, these wounds can lead to life-threatening infections. Even more alarming is how infections manifest in seniors during this stage. Unlike younger individuals, fever and classic symptoms may not appear. Instead, infections may reveal themselves through sudden confusion, extreme fatigue, or a noticeable loss of interest in eating. That's why it's crucial for families to pay close attention. A sudden mental decline could be the first warning, sign that something is wrong. Understandably, watching a loved one go through this can be both heartbreaking and frustrating. The instinct to push for aggressive treatments is strong. But at this point, treatments often provide little more than temporary relief and can prolong discomfort. This is when the focus quietly shifts. Instead of fighting every infection with endless medications, the goal becomes providing comfort, ensuring they stay hydrated, keeping their skin clean and moisturized, and minimizing any stress on their body can do far more to maintain dignity and ease than yet another round of antibiotics. After witnessing changes in energy, cognition, and the body's ability to fight off illness, the signs become even clearer and more sobering. Now we move into one of the most profound indicators that the body is entering its final stage, how it breathes and circulates life itself. Sign 5. Major changes in breathing or circulation. Perhaps nothing feels more intimate or alarming than watching someone's breathing change. In the final months or weeks of life, this often becomes one of the most noticeable and concerning signs. You may begin to see your loved one breathing more slowly or shallowly than they once did. At times, they may pause between breaths, or their breathing pattern may become strangely unpredictable, speeding up and slowing down without warning. One specific and common pattern is known as Cheney-Stokes respiration. This type of breathing alternates between deep, rapid breaths and long pauses, almost as if the body itself is struggling to find its rhythm. While subtle at first, these changes tend to grow more frequent and pronounced over time. Circulation issues also become apparent. You might feel their hands or feet becoming noticeably cold. Their nose and ears may feel chilly to the touch. In some cases, the skin around the fingers and toes may even take on a pale, bluish tint, or appear mottled, like gentle waves of color fading and returning. This happens because, as the heart weakens, the body instinctively begins prioritizing. Blood flow to the most vital organs, circulation to the extremities diminishes. It's a natural, if difficult to witness, process. Shortness of breath becomes increasingly common. Simple movements, sitting up, speaking, or even shifting positions, can leave them breathless. You might notice them breathing through their mouth more often or needing to stop mid-sentence to catch their breath. Tasks that were once second nature, like walking across the room, become challenging or even impossible. In some situations, fluid may begin to build up in the lungs, making breathing even harder. This can lead to a persistent cough, gurgling sounds, or tightness in the chest. Many may assume this is a cold or congestion, but in reality, it often signals weakening lung function. As a result, lying flat becomes uncomfortable. Many prefer sleeping propped up with pillows or sitting in a recliner to help them breathe more easily. For family members, these changes can be heartbreaking and frightening. Watching your loved one struggle for air or feel cold to the touch sparks the instinct to help. You may feel the urge to encourage them to take deeper breaths or wonder if something urgent is happening. But in most cases, this is simply nature taking its course. There may not be a way to reverse these changes, but there are ways to ease them. Keeping the room cool, using a humidifier, offering small sips of water, or providing oxygen therapy if recommended by healthcare professionals can bring comfort. At this point, the focus shifts away from fixing and moves towards soothing. The goal becomes helping them feel secure, calm, and as comfortable as possible. So, if you notice labored breathing, cold limbs, or a bluish tint to the skin, pay close attention. These are often the body's way of signaling that it is conserving energy for its final journey. During this time, being present, offering reassurance, and creating a peaceful atmosphere is the greatest gift you can provide. Because in the end, comfort, dignity, and love matter far more than intervention. Sign 6. Letting go. A subtle shift in will to live. As the body and mind gradually prepare for the end, there comes a quiet, often unspoken shift. A soft surrender. This isn't about depression or sadness. It's deeper. It's about letting go. You may begin to notice that your loved one starts showing less interest in things that once mattered deeply to them. A hobby they loved, a favorite show, even cherished family traditions. They simply stop asking. It's not indifference. It's a quiet peace with what is. They may say things like, "I've lived a good life," or "I'm tired and I'm okay with that." They may sleep longer, smile less, or spend more time looking out the window. Not lost, but reflective, as though they're gently turning inward. This moment is not one to fear. In many spiritual and emotional traditions, this stage is seen as a natural part of dying. The soul slowly beginning to step away from the physical world. It's a form of inner preparation that can't be rushed or reversed. Trying to pull them back into routines or conversations may be met with quiet resistance. Instead, what they truly need in this phase is presence, not persuasion. Be with them. Sit in silence. Hold their hand. Reassure them not with instructions, but with love. Let them know they are safe, honored, and not alone. Because sometimes, the most powerful way we show love is not by holding on, but by gently letting them go. This final emotional shift, though subtle, is one of the clearest signs that the end may be near, and it's also a sacred opportunity. To say what needs to be said, to forgive, to thank, and to love without condition. As we come to the close of this video, take a moment to reflect on what we've explored today. Significant weight loss, extreme. Fatigue, cognitive confusion, and withdrawal, frequent infections, and slow healing. Major changes in breathing and circulation. Letting go. A subtle shift in will to live. These are the 6 key signs that often appear in the year leading up to an elderly person's passing. They do not always arrive at once, nor do they always stand out immediately. But as they quietly weave themselves into daily life, they speak a clear message. The body is preparing for its final transition. For many families, these changes are difficult to accept. Naturally, we want to fight back. We want to encourage our loved ones to eat more, stay active, or push through the fatigue. But sometimes, the most compassionate thing we can do is listen. Listen to what their body is telling us. This journey isn't about fearing death. It's about being prepared for it. Recognizing these signs early allows us to provide better care, make thoughtful decisions, and most importantly, create meaningful moments that honor the person we love. This is a time not for regrets, but for presence. A time to sit together, share stories, offer gentle words, and ensure they know, without a doubt, that they are cherished and not alone. If you are seeing these signs in someone close to you, take a deep breath. You are not alone on this path. Many families have walked here before. While it is never easy, knowledge gives you strength and peace. Thank you for joining us today and for being part of this important conversation. We would love to hear from you. Please leave a comment below and share one thing you've learned or how you plan to use this knowledge in your life. Your thoughts mean so much to us. They not only encourage us, but also help others who are facing the same challenges. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support allows us to continue creating meaningful content to inform and inspire. Thanks again for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.